Hello, so this is the second video that I've done around the general subject of mental health and mental states. So today I'm going to be talking more about mental states with relation specifically to an author called Hermann Hesse. And that's possibly one of his most famous books there, Steppenwolf. We will cover that today, and you can see I've got my Hermann Hesse t-shirt on. You see that there? So what comes first, the t-shirt or the interest or the book? So anyway, what I'd like to show you first of all, so Hermann Hesse was a writer writing from roughly around the First World War until after the Second World War. He lived quite a long life and died in early 1960. His books became very popular in the 1960s during the kind of counterculture, the hippie movement, because of what he was talking about, which we'll go on to in a minute. So I bought out some of his books. About 30 years ago, in my early 20s, I read everything he'd ever written. I don't think I'd be able to do that now. There's some of the most famous ones: Steppenwolf, Siddhartha, and The Glass Bead Game. The other one I was going to bring out was Demian. Unfortunately, that's the one I'm going to talk a bit about today, but I've actually lost it somewhere. I was reading it at home in my detritus there. I've somehow lost it. I've also read all of his other stuff, some of his less well-known works like Peter Kamen-Zinn, Rosaldi, The Prodigy. There's another Peter Kamen-Zinn, and I've got several biographies of the guy as well. This is a very, very interesting slim work called Journey to the East. And that's got a very, very interesting foreword by Timothy Leary. Right, let me get I need a little help today. Okay. What's interesting about Hesse in regards to mental health, mental states, is that basically all his writing was pretty much based on sort of psychology. He was very, very learned about all religions. He brought up in a Christian household, so he knows all, he would have read the Bible several times, and then he travelled in India. I think it was 5 years in India, so he studied the Hindu religion, he studied mysticism, he studied all the Eastern religions and all the Eastern kind of practices of gaining kind of insights into yourself. He had a couple of sort of breakdown issues himself, so his own mental state was at times probably quite fragile, although he ended up living a long life. He was married 3 times. So what he gives us is this kind of interesting and very interesting take on psychology, because he was writing novels. He was able to make them into a story. So you could say that the main theme of all of his work is the kind of juxtaposition between what we might call dark and light, mind and body, the ascetic versus the man of action. Or the other book I forgot to bring out, Narcissus and Garbled, explains that perfectly. Or the Apollonian versus the Dionysian. So the Apollonian character who's rational, scientific, thoughtful, and the Dionysian, the kind of the excess, the sensuality. And in all his books he's exploring that. Now Steppenwolf probably does that in a more complex way than all of his other books. I would say Narcissus and Goldman is a very obvious juxtaposition between 2 characters. You've got a man of action and you've got like a monk-like type. So the 2 types together. Steppenwolf's a bit different insofar as this is about a middle-aged misanthrope. Very big in the 1960s. The main guy, Steppenwolf, in there is just a few years younger than I am now. And he's a bit depressed, he's a bit miserable, and then he finds this magic theatre and life changes for him. He probably takes some kind of drug, possibly mescaline or something like that, which is a plant medicine that was allegedly being experimented on quite a lot at the time that this was written. Whatever, and he experiences women, he experiences all his sort of darker sides. What actually Hesse says on there is man isn't just two people, he isn't just dark and light, or the ascete, or the monk, or the man of action. He's a hundreds of different types. So that's just a very brief summary really of why I think he's useful. He's very, very interesting. He knew about Jungian psychology, so a lot of his ideas are very Jungian, and he was writing, he was pretty much a contemporary of Jung, so he was quite in front of the game on that kind of psychology. So that's just a short summary really. I would like to say, in regards to my own kind of journey at the moment through exploring mental health and how my brain works and my own self, is that I feel most of my life I've been very much the Apollonian, the ascetic type, the thinker, the rational person, and I would like, in fact in the last few years, but especially now, like to explore the other side, the Dionysian side, the risk-taking side, and I do feel some of that at the moment. And actually this COVID-19 thing has come in and locked me indoors just as I was starting to really embrace life and be open to like new experiences. But I'm doing what I can during COVID. I'm doing it maybe in my head, and during the short periods of exercise, outdoor time we've got, and I'm ready for going back to the embracement of life when this is all done. Anyway, if you've listened to the end of this, thank you very much. Thank you to my son Ned, who has again been the video master, so thank you.